It's Wednesday, April 24th, 2019. Bitcoin crushes the alts. Is there more moon to come, or is there a big correction still likely? This is the 24 hours of Bitcoin. You can pause the video to read the disclaimer or click on the link in the description down below. Let's jump right into the chart for Bitcoin. We're looking at the relative strength index here on the 4-hour bars. Prices have broken out as we were expecting all the way along here. We were waiting for the prices to break higher, but all the time aware that this is making clear top formations all the way along here, and it's always a high risk. So we were continually watching. The RSI turned to strength, and it looks like it's still going up stronger for me. And I'll show more different time frames in a second. When we review what happened with the on-balance volume, as we predicted, prices of the OBV had to break above these levels with volume in order for prices to break higher, and we did see that. Now, it's pulled back a little bit, but it's not turning red. It's not giving me the indication that this is run out of steam, though I was definitely watching as we came up to a double top here before this move higher. I was watching to see if we were going to have this break back, but all is well for the bulls. We can also see with the MACD indicator that the histograms are still positive, though right now the green line is looking like it's approaching the red and wanting to cross. Should those go further apart, that'll be more indicating this is taking off. When we go and look at the 4 charts of Bitcoin versus US dollar, Litecoin versus US dollar, Ethereum and XLM versus US dollar, we can see that Bitcoin is broken above this ascending wedge triangle and is sitting on top of support now, which is good. However, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Lumens have all broken down out of this consolidation triangle. Generally, I like to see all 4 of these doing the same thing and be in agreement, and so I want to pay attention to what these are telling us over time. Then I want to zoom back to the daily view and take a perspective on this, in that when we go to the daily view in each of these charts and zoom in just a little bit, we can see that we are not in danger of changing the change of trend. It's not going on back to a bear market from where we are. We are safe to have, in my view anyway, we're safe to have a pullback so long as we're not breaking down below these ultimate lows. And should we go back to the 135 or the 104 level in Ethereum, this is still within the bull market turnaround. And the same with Lumens, it's still above the 123 bottom formation technical support. We're just making a larger 123 bottom. It's just taking time to go longer for this to turn around before these also go into a bull market. I was anticipating that the alts would be going into a bull market along with Bitcoin for a further time before we saw the turnaround, but the split happened on about March 28th to April 1st. We could see that split starting to happen as Bitcoin uncoupled from the altcoins and the altcoins took off. So we can see that here over on Binance, the altcoins are taking a major hammering. Not only are people dumping it just to get into Bitcoin because Bitcoin's getting stronger, but many of the alts are breaking down to really important technical levels, and we'll watch that on another live stream on the other channel. Now, we could be going into further bull, and I expect that we are. However, we could have the chance that we would see a pattern like what we see on the cover of this book that I've never actually purchased, an Altcoin Trader's Handbook by Nick Patel. I want to give him credit for pulling up this chart from wherever he got it, but you can see the overall period, the follow through after a bubble. So we get this big euphoria that we had in Bitcoin. We saw this descending wedge triangle, and in November, this broke lower. December, we had this bottom formation. We've come up a little bit. Are we now at this second point here in depression, just above depression? If that's the case, this is where I would have the conspiracy theory that the new institutional interest in the markets have gathered up enough. They know how to do proper selling in order to move a market, and probably accumulating while they're selling it down. Should this happen, then all of the small guys holding Bitcoin and everything else is going to be really have their pockets cleaned out. So one of my strategies back in December was to watch for this and go straight to stablecoin at this time should we have a top formation. In the meantime, I've become more bullish and anticipated that we were maybe in this point and we will see the breakout go higher yet. And so when I go back to the Bitcoin chart and zoom out to the 1-year view and even out to the 5-year view so that we're looking at the weekly chart, this is where I get the most bullish on the overall chart. And I see that a run up to 10K might not be that difficult. Let's get some perspective on when that might be by watching the trend in the RSI. So we have this trend in the RSI at that point. If we can take this chart, move it over, and just pencil out a trend that's similar in the RSI, then we can see that it's going to be, let's see, down at the bottom there, December of 2019, before my $10,000 is hit. So this would give me the idea that we're got to spend some time under this $6,100 level, poking away at the support and resistance that is at that level. It's huge. It's going to take a while. We'll probably come back and poke at it a few times before breaking higher. I'm assuming that we'll have a large ascending wedge triangle that's going to take many weeks for it to build and give us that momentum to be able to break to the $10,000 level. So let's see how this turns out in the long run. In the meantime, we're going to clear this off, zoom back in on the 3-day view, and take a perspective on the fact that we do have a small little double top just over the last short period with descending or RSI divergence. If we go into the 3-day view so we're in the 15-minute charts, now we're starting to see that the on-balance volume is getting some pretty heavy selling that is actually outstripping the buying at this, and we do have a little top formation now. So this is giving us a potential little top formation. It's sort of a 3-2-1 and not a nice 1-2-3 yet. If it comes back up here and retests these levels, we're getting some pretty clean levels for watching price movements at that point. Let's zoom in on the MACD indicator, and we have, grab a line drawing tool. We have a bit of a divergence here. Let's watch to see if this crosses over and returns us back to positive histograms here for this to continue on going higher. If it comes up and meets resistance anywhere here and we're seeing these go negative more and we're seeing more of the negative on balance volume, I would expect that there's going to be a little bit more time for this to go on. Should this on balance volume spike back to positive as we're going past these levels, then I would say that the Bitcoin prices are going to be continuing up from here. So again, it's going to be $6,100. It's going to get tricky. We may stay there for a while and hover as we're poking away at the support and resistance at that level before we break up higher by using the RSI from the history to sort of anticipate how long that prediction might take. Thanks for signing up, or thanks for watching along. I appreciate you guys being here. This is a great study for my own personal training and learning about the RSI, the on-balance volume, and the MACD indicator and how they relate to the chart formations that I normally trade. Thanks again for tuning in. Good luck in all of your Bitcoin trading.